Before we begin, thank you very much to the Dean of Cybertron for joining the Patreon campaign. Wow, the Dean of the whole planet. That's actually an impressive title. Congratulations. Thank you very much for the contribution. Always appreciated. I'm currently in that lovely American experience of I probably shouldn't be at work because I'm still a little sick, but work got to get done. And work got to get done on this channel too, so we're going to talk some Transformers right now. You'll just excuse me if I'm a little bit out of sorts or sound a little bit off. I'm still recovering. But we are going to be talking about Skybound's Transformer comics again. It's been a bit since we checked in, and admittedly, I kind of get behind on my comic books, so I did catch up. And once again, I am highly, highly impressed by what I found. So typically what reminds me that, oh yeah, good Transformer comic books are being produced again, is my social media feed, where every now and then I will check it and people will just be buzzing about some particular scene in the books. And usually it's an Optimus Prime scene. Usually it's just because Optimus Prime in these books is being handled and written so well that it's actually causing buzz, to the point where people are actually calling for this to be the Optimus Prime portrayal. Whereas our most popular, most well-known Optimus Prime is still, unfortunately, the Michael Bay one. Yeah, you can see why. Last time we talked about Skybound, we did discuss this particular iteration of Optimus Prime, and the fact that compassion is very, very much in the forefront of his character. When he accidentally takes the life of a deer, treats it as though he just lost a friend. He is incredibly mournful of what he has done, and now painfully aware of how fragile organic life is. Hard lesson to learn, and impressive that they would even show him learning it. It's something that we were kind of paying attention to with Skybound, because this is by the same people who make The Walking Dead, so we were kind of aware that this was probably going to end up being a grittier, more for lack of better terms, realistic take on Transformers. And in a way, we are kind of getting that, but they're doing it in a way where it's not losing the balance of the original series. We're definitely getting grittier. We're definitely getting more real life circumstance, but we are not getting like over the top or over cartoonish with it at the same time. We aren't getting like, we're still getting like the core of Transformers along with all of this. It's not being lost like it tended to be in the 2007 movies, trying to be, gritty. In future issues, like issue 3 and 4, we do have Optimus Prime's resolve being put to the test, because we have the natural thing that humans will do, which is to try to murder the strange thing. In this case being the giant metal robot they think is on the attack. So we do have scenes where Optimus Prime is being actively attacked by the human population alongside, who are also attacking Decepticons. Like if there's a giant robot, it's getting shot, to the point where Optimus even loses an arm to it. Oh, by the way, spoilers, if you've gotten this far and don't realize that I'm going to be spoiling the most current issues, congratulations. But here's your warning. Admittedly late, but here's your warning. We're going to spoil a bit in the newer issues. Not the good twists, though. I'm going to let you go discover those for yourselves, because this book is definitely worth reading. But to me, like, this is like actually testing Optimus Prime's resolve. If he actually does care about the sanctity of all life, what happens when, the indigenous life forms turn against him? Well, this happens. He turns to one of his attackers, Sparkplug, the son, the father of his friend Spike, and is offering, and wants him to accompany him to save Spike. That's okay. Keep in mind, this guy has been blown up and mangled and shot by the humans, including this human he is now offering a ride to. So this Optimus Prime this Optimus Prime is demonstrating that he is aware the humans don't know any better. and that they actually can coexist if they actually understand each other a little bit better. So this is him giving that a chance. This is him just wanting to save Spike and understanding, Sparkplug is important to Spike, vice versa. So he's asking him along. It is, shocking enough, it's down to like what is supposed to be the core beat of Optimus Prime, and that's the one spoken by Peter Cullen 40 years ago now, which is to be strong enough to be gentle. That was the whole basis of Peter Cullen's performance of Generation 1 Optimus Prime, and it's something that is very rarely held to, because Prime became the action movie hero where being gentle doesn't really apply. It's applying here, and it's being done exceptionally well. The scene that went around on Twitter was this one, where he's talking to Sparkplug, and denying godhood, hi IDW 1.0 Optimus, but also acknowledging that despite Sparkplug's small size, he is still mighty. He is still strong in his own way. He doesn't view them as insignificant or inferior in any way, shape, or form. He still has, he's known humans for like a couple days, but he finds strength in them and respects them for it. And it's, and actually, in a way, looks up to them in a weird way. That's Optimus Prime. That is absolutely Optimus Prime. And that's a breath of fresh air. That's amazing to see out of a G1 Prime again. I feel like I haven't seen it in so long. The comic book is going to try and do a better job of actually letting him demonstrate the fact that there is a difference between Autobot and Decepticon, and it isn't going to be as reckless as just like big robot bad. Because there is a lot that goes on in issue 4 that does demonstrate that, there's, to hopefully prove to some humans that, some of these robots are good guys. And it's not just all evil invaders. Defending this, being on the defense in this scene is just part of that. But things like this also lead to conflict, where again, Optimus has more wise observations, which again goes back to who Optimus really is. When Ratchet kind of scolds him for taking risks in order to save the humans' lives, the argument is that they are rash, they're prone to destruction, which Optimus acknowledges is just like Cybertronians. Salient point. Absolutely salient point. And I feel like if this was another Optimus Prime, if this was movie Optimus Prime, this would be the kind of stuff that causes him to lose faith in humanity or causes him to just flat out ignore them from now on. Any kind, when humans kind of turned their back on Cybertronians in the movies, he kind of gave up on them immediately. This one doesn't feel like he would do that. This one genuinely feels like they are living creatures. They deserve to be saved. And it's fantastic. It's a very heroic Optimus Prime I am very much enjoying. Also, wrestling moves. So last time we talked about Skybound, I had to explain what a ripcord lariat was as far as like the pro wrestling moves Optimus Prime was putting on. He's not the only one using them in these books, by the way. They're just more blatant with him. The move being done here is called a burning hammer. It was invented by a wrestler called Kenta Kobashi, and it's a move that is literally so dangerous to use to an opponent that Kobashi only broke it out 7 times in his career. It's, how wrestlers have finishers. The burning hammer is supposed to be a super finisher. If this is done, it is because there is no other move that can work, and this might really kill them, but I have to take the chance or else I'm going to lose. It's that kind of move. If this was an accurate burning hammer, Skywarp wouldn't have gotten up after this, by the way. That's the only inaccuracy to how this burning hammer was pulled off. I really hope this goes so far. I really hope this goes so far that someday I can just do a video using Skybound Transformer comics to teach you all pro wrestling moves. I feel like that's inevitable. I feel like by this time next year, I'll be able to do that. Now, we see the kindness on the Autobot side, from Optimus Prime especially, but that's also in contrast to the Decepticon side of things. So we already saw in the previous issue, issue 2, where Starscream just delights in squishing humans. Like, he's found a favorite hobby. You know, to like levels of extreme violence here that is entirely unnecessary. I equated it to when a kid discovers what a magnifying glass can do to an ant on a clear summer day. You know, and he is gleeful in his homicide. And I thought this would be exclusive to Starscream, but no, Skywarp takes a turn at it too, and Skywarp is also way into this. It's a level of cruelty I have never seen out of the Decepticons. And it just seems to be universal. You know, aside from like Soundwave, who's like, where is the plan? Where is the logic? It gets to a point where when Optimus Prime gets Spike to a hospital, Spike who got shot, by the way, just a way of clarification is what's going on there, Starscream realizes that a hospital is a place where you go to fix a human. So he takes time. He's got Optimus Prime on the ropes, and then takes the time to start assaulting the hospital out of nothing more than petty cruelty and how much he loves doing it. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm going to take a drink of water, and then I'm going to tell you. This is not your typical Starscream. This is the most sadistic take on Starscream I have ever seen. In this scene, he's got Optimus Prime down, but he takes the time to destroy the hospital in front of him anyway, just to rub it in his nose. And it's showing Starscream's classic overconfidence and hubris. So again, we're working in classic traits, and it does feel like the character. It's just cruelty on a whole other level, man. And here's the thing. It's not limited to just the humans, which is even weirder. So, in this issue, in issue 4, Skywarp's taken heavy damage. And as a result, well, maybe not as a result. Skywarp being damaged is more like a backup plot than anything. You'll notice here he's actually describing Skywarp as his friend, and the Decepticons have actually referred to each other as brethren. You know, our brothers are lying here, damaged, etc. So there is some kind of sense of camaraderie amongst these Decepticons, which is something kind of rare in these depictions, something kind of rare in Transformer fiction, where, they actually are important to each other in some way. But like I said, the cruelty knows no bounds. When Starscream and Soundwave realize that that they need repairs to keep fighting the Autobots and to try and destroy Optimus Prime, they realize that in order to be repaired, they need Cybertronian material. And the only place to get that is the other Cybertronians. So they scavenge Skywarp's still living body and start ripping it up for scrap. So much for camaraderie. Again, I've never seen such a wide gap between Autobots and Decepticons. This isn't an IDW situation where it's like there's an ideology war going on here. No, this is... oh my god, these guys are way evil. And these guys are like really heroic, but these guys are way, way evil. It's brutal is what it is. It's brutal. We expected brutality from these comic book creators, but this I don't think is what we expected. this type of cruelty. Yeah, it's just the most evil I've seen Decepticons in a long time. Keep in mind, in this fiction, in this world of Transformers, they kind of try to keep the Decepticons kind of cool so that their toys sell as well. You know, you want to keep them, you know, somewhat likable, you know, the same way that a pro wrestling bad guy is likable. I mean, they're doing what they can to make you hate them, but they're kind of charming in how they do it. By the way, I apologize for all the jump cuts. Whatever bug that I caught and still is not quite gotten rid of is like settling in my throat. He does not like me recording a video today. But like I said, it's amazing just how far they're willing to go just to show how evil these Decepticons are. And throughout the book, there's a lot of stuff they have to cover, and they do a really good job of it there as well that I've actually really enjoyed. I mean, there is the obvious human reaction. The human reaction is baked in. You have to do it. Okay, here's the local militia who's going to shoot the alien robots no matter what anyone says. Poor Cliffjumper takes so many shots, you know, from humans who are mistaking him as a villain, all the while with Carly trying to get them to stop. Yes. I feel bad for him. I feel legitimately bad for him. And then you got things like Ratchet having to make a choice. So, you remember, in my mind, I always link Ratchet and Wheeljack because in the G1 cartoons, they were always kind of working on things together, the scientist and the doctor. So I kind of see them as a pair, which seems to be how this book was writing them, because Ratchet was putting a priority on getting Wheeljack back up on his feet. And when the Autobots and Decepticons are all desperate for energy, you know, energy and repairs, etc., that goes a long way. So Ratchet has to make a wartime decision to get a warrior back up on his feet before a scientist. So hard decision there, which probably led to his blowout with Optimus Prime later in the issue. Hard choices, wartime choices being made. So we have that worked into the story as well. And a lot of things like that are being touched on. You know, at this point, 4 issues in, Autobots and Decepticons alike have had no new source of material, no new source of energon. So they are all basically running on fumes and just trying to outlive each other. You know, it puts them in a very, very stressful point and shows them at a very desperate time, to where both sides are having to be somewhat clever in how they operate in order to, you know, stay alive. You know, and it makes more sense than, like, you know, after 4 million years, all these robots just got up and started fighting again. So I will give them that credit. This actually makes a lot more sense than your typical Transformer origin to show it, like, to show them struggling. You know, the struggle is interesting. And then we have this interaction, which I think is going to be like the connection of the book, and it's Carly and Cliffjumper. And I'm kind of like, I'm amused in that Carly is kind of like the female Spike of the show. Like, she is the token female character in G1. Just as, you know, Spike has to be the token human. So, and then, of course, I don't think this is spoiler at this point. It's been months. Yeah, Bumblebee's already dead. Like, Starscream double tapped him once they woke up. So Cliffjumper has kind of become like the subsequent friendly Autobot, and it's a different dynamic. You know, it's not Bumblebee and Spike enjoying adventures together, getting to know planet, you know, Spike showing his new friend planet Earth. They are bound in almost wartime situations. You know, Cliffjumper, obviously the far more aggressive, him and Bumblebee, but he's connecting to Carly because they have both suffered through Starscream's cruelty. So this is a more interesting dynamic to me. This has the potential to be a really interesting dynamic in Transformers, and it's refreshing to see. You know, and yeah, like they're named in vintage G1 characters, but they really are doing brand new things with them, which is also really refreshing too. Again, the books are doing a lot of new things, and they're doing a lot of interesting things. Like I said, issue 4 has got a pretty good twist in it. I'll tell you, we finally find out what's going on with Megatron and why he's not around in the book. And is both familiar and interesting. Put it that way. Suffice to say, we're 4 issues in, and this book is incredible. If you have not given it a chance, I'm trying to be very sparing with what's going on. There is more intricate and deeper stories here. There is a lot more characterization being fleshed out that I didn't go through. I'm hitting major moments, but I'm leaving a few of the bigger ones for you to see for yourself. And it's great. It is a great book. If you have not gone out to read it, I am absolutely recommending it. It's looking like it's going to be some really, really good fiction if they keep this up. So, that's what I got for you today. The comic books continue to be great. And yeah, that's what I think. So, thank you everyone for watching. I need a lozenge. And I will see you next time.